I've been talking a lot on this channel about stepping into your purpose, doing the things that really fuel you in a positive way, right? The things that give you life rather than drain from your life force, and making the changes, right? And I made a video saying about the new yous here and how we simply can decide to make the changes and work on the things that we want to work on and step into this new life, these new beings, right? And so many people are doing this right now. It really does feel like there's an influx of people realizing their power and realizing what they're here to do and what they want to do, and stepping into creating that life. And of course, some work's needed to do this, right? It does take a little bit of discipline and that deciding, but once you've simply decided the things that you're going to work on or change and step into through reflecting and diving into the things that you want to change or walk towards, it can be quite a quick process from then, and one that, although requires maybe a little bit of discipline and definitely some clarity on knowing where you want to lead yourself, where you want to walk, it doesn't have to be hard. There's something fun, there's something empowering about stepping into and giving yourself that power to change. Your life, I also spoke about this, your life can very quickly become some sort of blissful boot camp, right? And boot camp sounds a bit harsh, which is why I threw the word blissful's in front of it, because it can become not only addictive, but very empowering and fun. And it's a beautiful experience to actually recognize that, you know what, I can just change whatever I want to change and step into building this new life for myself, this new character, or work on the things that maybe hold me back as a character and fully step into this version of me that I want to live. And it's all about aligning yourself, right? One of you guys commented this recently on one of the videos. It's all about aligning with that energy, and it really is. That's all it is. It's as simple as that. Work out what it is that you want. Imagine yourself as that person. Feel what it's like to be that person, even though you're not there yet. Almost ignoring your current experience and your current 3D reality. Holding that vision, holding that feeling, and returning to it as often as you can throughout your days. Being so clear on the vision, and then stepping into it, aligning, doing the things that align with that feeling, coming from that feeling that you've identified, and start walking the path, start building the blocks, changing the habits, bringing in new habits, replacing the things you don't like with things that you do like. This can become addictive, and when that machine starts working and your life starts operating in a way that is your new life, your new routine, there's something in it, you know, celebrating the small wins when you recognize things are changing, things are moving. And it might be not the feedback loop, it might literally just be the way that you're feeling, that you can see that you're operating in a slightly different way. Celebrate all these small wins, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they snowball. And this is really empowering, just to decide that you can make these changes, just to decide and realize that you do have the power to be and do whatever you want to do. And there's something about protecting this and nurturing this feeling without going off and telling everyone, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You know, that releases some sort of chemical in our brain that gives us this dopamine hit that can kind of trick us in ways that make us feel like we've already achieved the thing. We get that satisfaction in telling others, and the brain thinks it's already achieved it. And this can be tricky, rather than just when you keep it inside, knowing, sometimes being almost delusional. There's a place for delusion in this side of things, when you're ignoring your current reality to step into that new place and be the vibration, align yourself with what's coming that you know, and you know it deep inside. That's all that matters. And nurture that, protect that, and just keep acting, keep being, keep doing the things that this ideal you would do, that you would be. And that's the bit that can feel hard. That's the bit that can feel like it's easier said than done, right? Yeah, it's all right saying be the person you're going to be, but that takes change. But fall in love with that change. Fall in love with that you've got the power. And that discipline, that almost stoic mindset in walking a path that's in alignment with yourself, although you might have to do some difficult things, it doesn't have to be hard, and it becomes easier the more you celebrate it and fall in love with that process. You know? When your life starts evolving around this new you, then you are that new you. And that's why I called that video The New You Is Here. Simply deciding. As soon as you decide and you act, start aligning yourself, then you're already it. The 3D will catch up. The feedback loop will come back round sooner or later. And when it starts happening in the small ways, celebrate them. They get bigger. Recognize that these changes you're making, this new world that you're stepping into, this new you that you've stepped into, is pretty much instant. And reality will catch up just by changing. But that's what I want to highlight in this video is we can often put big change on a pedestal, like it's really hard to achieve. And it doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have to be hard. And it can actually be fun. And it is fun. I think it's fun. Protecting that and knowing the mission that you're on. Kind of enjoying the journey, even when it's not maybe feeling like it's going right. Still enjoy that bit, knowing that you're going to overcome these things. You're going to overcome these little hurdles and chapters because you know inside where you're heading. And even when your reality is not reflecting the goals that you're heading towards and you'll feel like you're really far from it, keep reminding yourself what that feeling is. Keep imagining yourself as who that person is that you're trying to be, having already achieved those goals, and keep connecting with that. And that's going to keep you going. But just the change in your routine, the change in your habits, the change from you simply deciding this new you also is enough and quickly starts gaining momentum. And there is definitely something addictive about this. And how amazing is that? Getting addicted to bettering yourself, getting addicted to leveling up, knowing that you're on this journey. Doing things that are true to yourself, that you're passionate about, that you love. Knowing that if you share what your vision is, many might doubt you. Many might put their fears or look at you and think, I don't know what they're thinking, that they can achieve that. And that's why it's good also not to do that. To protect yourself from all that. No, but knowing that you're on a mission, that if you did share it, many might think, that's a lot to achieve. But there's something in that fuels you. There's something in that fire in your belly that keeps it alive. And you just keep walking that path, doing those things. And sure, maybe a lot of change is needed, but it doesn't actually have to be hard. When you really, really want it, and you start putting in these small things, making these minor decisions to how you approach your day, where you come from in your mindset, and holding that vision, these small things start to make a big, big difference. And before you know it, you'll look back and think, wow, I've come a long way. I really have come a long way. There's a lot of freedom and power in recognizing that you've got the ability to change in an instant. And it really can be in an instant, even though that feedback loop might take some time to come back. But recognize you're putting it out there. These changes in mindset and action, you're not going to get the same results as you've done previously because you're doing a different approach. Something's going to be different. And when that approach is doing things for the better, the feedback loop's going to be reflecting that sooner or later. But just knowing that that you respect yourself enough, and it can be in an instant, by making these little approaches, these slight changes in your approach, these slight changes in your mindset, the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, the way you now give power to what you're capable of, removing the blocks. And part of this journey, the doubt's going to come back up at times, right? I think that shows as well, when little things creep up, maybe fears or doubts, or the old you starts creeping back up, and you might have days of this or weeks of this, and they might reoccur every now and then, but you put yourself back on track. This is a sign that you're changing, because that old you's clinging on, right? We hear this time and time again. When big change happens, our old self that wants to keep us in this comfort zone, that even we might not be actually comfortable, we might be living really below what we want to be living, right? Yet there's still like a comfort zone there that we have to break out of. It's what we know. That current reality is what we know. So as you start making changes and these start snowballing, you're heading in the right direction now to step into this new you, this new version of you. The old you is going to try and cling on and pull you back. And rather than get pulled back, recognize that this is just showing how much you're changing. You're really stepping out of your comfort zone now. You're really starting to live this new you, this new version of you. And that's a good sign. When the fears pop back in or the doubt pops back in, it's recognizing that, right, yeah, this is that, because big change is happening for me. And I've simply decided that I'm on a new trajectory, a new path. that's really in alignment with my authentic self and my truth. And those around you, your friends and everything like that, might not know. Depends how much you share. And of course, there's time to also share with friends and almost hold yourself accountable. But be careful not to get that dopamine hit that tricks your brain into thinking that you've already done the thing that you're telling people you're going to do without having done it. There's a lot of power in nurturing it, keeping it inside, and just keep doing the footsteps forward to achieve that thing. And you'd rather come from that place, or from my experience, coming from that place of you've already done it. You've already become that person you're telling people that you're going to be. You've already done the thing that you're telling people that you're going to do. It's much better. And that way there's no doubt from others. There's no fears from others, because they're just like, oh, well, they done it. Well done. And they'll see these changes in you. But all you've got to worry about is making the change for yourself. Doing this for you. And this is another thing I talk about a lot on this channel, is doing it for yourself, for that fulfillment that you get. And enough dopamine is released from being proud and doing these hard things and recognizing the changes that you're making, that everything's evolving around this new version of you, and you're becoming that version of you. And day by day, of course, sometimes with setbacks, but day by day, you're getting closer and closer and closer to that person you want to be. That's going to be enough of a hit of fulfillment, knowing that you do, proving to yourself that you do have that power. It's one thing kind of knowing it in your mind or telling yourself. When you start walking that path, you're proving to yourself. And doing these things that feed you in a positive light, a positive way, rather than negative, and keep you stuck in a comfort zone or in an old version of you or a version of you that you want to move away from. Doing these things really do give you a sense of fulfillment and power, and yeah, it's empowering. It really, really is. And that in itself is fun. That in itself is beautiful. And this is why it becomes easier and easier and easier. And the whole time you're getting closer and closer and closer to actually living this version of you. Keep going. And you can simply decide now. And rather than put this change, this new you on a pedestal, recognize that it's only many minor decisions, many minor changes in your approach that are going to get you there. And when I say put it on a pedestal, I just mean don't make that harder than it needs to be. Don't make that leap harder and bigger than it needs to be, because it can be enjoyable. Being on this journey of self-improvement and self-discovery is enjoyable. It might be deep at times. There's going to be hurdles to overcome, but that's the bit you can fall in love with. And you'll notice this when you look around and realize, wow, yeah, everything now is evolving around this new version of me. And that also probably means that you are now that version of yourself. Of course, we're always going to have things to work upon, always going to have different things come up and come to light that we want to improve. But it's kind of like knowing that you're enough, whilst also striving and knowing that you're capable to have and be exactly what you want to be. And you do have that power. And respect that. Respect yourself. Love yourself enough to give yourself that change and fall in love with the journey. It's like exercising. When you start to see just a little bit of response from your body, a little bit of feedback from your body that it changes, and you might look in the mirror one day or catch an angle of yourself, you think, oh wow, this work I'm doing in the gym is actually doing something. From that moment on, it's so much more easier. So much easier to go a bit harder at the gym or keep that consistency going, because you've seen that feedback loop. And it's the same with making the changes into stepping into this new version of yourself. It's the same. Just recognize what it is, recognize how that would feel, and align yourself more and more and more, and keep that in mind. And it's a beautiful process. It's an empowering process that doesn't have to be almost difficult. It doesn't have to be. In the way that, although big change is happening, although some things might be a challenge to overcome and change, there's also a way that you fall in love with it and it becomes fun and not a burden, more so a responsibility of just responding to your ability to be the person you want to be, and giving yourself that power. And what a gift that is, that we can. Keep striving for what you want to bring in. Keep striving to be that person you want to be, knowing that you can. And respect yourself and love yourself enough to get yourself there and fall in love with the journey. If If you're interested with working with me, I've got the Navigating Self program where we dive into all this sort of stuff, knowing yourself more deeply, building strong foundations for a fulfilling and successful life. You know thyself, mindset, clarity, creativity, well-being. Get in touch below. My email's there. If you want to learn a little bit more or book a call with me, we can do that. But yeah, in the meantime, just keep giving yourself the power and knowing that this journey is fun. This journey is a blessing. This journey is a gift. The fact that we can pick ourselves up, simply decide something and then go and achieve it, and be on the journey of achieving it. Enjoy the game. Have fun in it. Take care. Peace.